You know what, guys? It's time to start putting stuff into perspective. It's 2026. Happy New Year, by the way. But we got to start to think sensibly, and I need to know where your head is at. All right, so yeah, Tiffany Henyard drove the village of Dalton into a $5 million budget deficit. Yeah, she got away with a lot of alleged allegations. Might have had some kickbacks going on, might have spent a few $100,000 on wigs, makeup, and, the eyelashes, and a couple SUVs, and a $1.5 million police detail. But watch this clip on CNN, this argument, this little meltdown, and then I got to know where your head is at. I want you to think about this. So in 2026, it's time for us to start to think and evaluate other things that are going on and to put it all in perspective. Watch this clip, then I'm going to come back and we're going to talk about it. And then I'm going to want to know where you are up here in your head as we evaluate this particular topic on this crazy discussion right here.
They're rounding up everybody who is involved in fraud.
No, they're not rounding up everybody.
They're all talking about Somalis. That's the point.
I want them to round up anyone who is involved in defrauding American taxpayers of what apparently amounts to $9 billion in a very, very small state. Somali, whether they're citizens, immigrants, white, I don't care.
You don't care if they target one community?
I want the fraud to stop.
But do you support the targeting of this one community or not?
I support the
you
targeting.
Think that's the right thing to do?
I support the targeting of people engaged in fraud.
But do you support the targeting of the Somali American community as directed by the President of the United States based on their ethnicity?
That's not what he said.
That's it.
That is precisely what he said.
If they are engaged in fraud and because they're American citizens, should that make them immune?
That's a straw man argument.
No.
Just answer the question.
I did.
Should we
I want anyone
target
involved in
based on
fraud
their
to be
ethnicity?
targeted. Anyone involved in fraud.
But not based on their ethnicity.
I want it based on whether they're involved in fraud.
Is it really so hard to answer that question?
Yes.
I want it.
Yes.
Is it so hard
the only
to sit there and
criteria,
say we shouldn't target people based on their ethnicity?
The only criteria I have is fraud.
We shouldn't target people based on their ethnicity? I can say that.
Can you say that?
I can say
Everyone here can say.
Can you say?
We shouldn't target people based on their ethnicity. Can you say that? Can you say that?
Okay, I just can't. All right, guys. So let's put this in perspective. Let's balance it out. Tiffany Henyard, Dalton, $5 million in the hole. Jump up to Minnesota. Now we're talking $8 billion of money stolen. So let's just kind of think about this. What did you think about that discussion, and what did you notice that was going on, which is the recurring theme through all of this fraud discussion? What's the theme?
We can't target people based on ethnicity.
And if a group of Somalians steals $8 billion, well, that's not the crime. The true crime is that we're being racist and targeting people based on their ethnicity. So apparently it's like, okay to steal $8 billion, but don't you dare target them based on their ethnicity. Then we're all supposed to feel sorry for them, okay? And, it is too bad that the bulk of Somalians are getting smeared by all of this. It's really too bad. That's sad, but hey, that's the way it goes. When you've got, 88 some odd people that have already been convicted and thrown in the slammer, caught for stealing hundreds of millions and into the billions of dollars of federal taxpayer money. And it just so happens to be that the most concentrated area in the United States for the Somalian population is right there in Minnesota, where they got a lady, Ilk-Han Omar, who is a sitting member of Congress, and you got a jackass of a governor and this moron mayor, this white guy who sits around talking in Arabic and trying to act like he's so relatable to the Somali community. And then we get these 88 people that have stolen all this money, the folks are stealing the money, cashing it out. They're showing up at the airport, going through TSA with briefcases full of cash. We're talking like $100,000 stuffed into a briefcase. And get on a plane, it goes right back to Somalia. So that's what's going on. So yeah, it's concentrated there and it's happening. But as you saw in this discussion, CNN, this crew on CNN, they just make me sick. When is it time to call a spade a spade? All right? Can we do that, please? If you got a concentration of these people, and most of them, 90% of the ones that are going to jail are from Somalia, and we know that Somalia is the pirate country where, all right, they're worse than Nigeria, okay? The real scammers come from Somalia. And then it's interesting that for such a small, concentrated group of people that they're responsible for $8 billion of fraud. Now, here's what ticks me off. Besides the fact that the game plan is to steal billions of dollars and then hide behind racism, there's two things that ticks me off, and I want to know what you think. Thing one that ticks me off is this. I work hard every day. I don't get to sleep a lot because I have 5 businesses. I got a body shop. I have an engineering consulting business. I've got this YouTube business. I have a tech business, okay? I do public speaking. I do training. I do all sorts of stuff. I can't even think of everything. I have a vitamin supplement business. All right. So I work a lot to raise my kids. They're all grown now. I got grandkids. I work hard for my money. And then guess who comes knocking on the door? The IRS. Well, we need to snatch 30% of your income. And so I'm constantly making payment arrangements and paying my taxes. Meanwhile, these jokers up here in Somalia are stealing $8 billion of my taxpayer money. And then we get these jokers on CNN to sit up and act all offended and incensed because we're targeting based on their ethnicity. Holy crap. I can't take it. So that's thing one. And then thing two that really hacks me off. This gets my goat. It really does. Is when you see the Somalians on TikTok. And man, oh man, are they arrogant, where they get incensed if you dare to call them black. And I just had one of my loyal subscribers who filled me in on why they reject the notion that they're black people. How dare you call us black? We aren't black. And the reason is because the term black in Arabic is related to a term that describes those that come from slavery, okay, slaves. And since they're Somalians in East Africa, they weren't slaves, so they think, well, by God, those black people are beneath us because we weren't slaves. So, whoa, don't call us black. Just because we have dark skin, we are not black people. Oh, really now? So they don't consider themselves black until you get busted with your hands in the cookie jar stealing $8 billion. Now all of a sudden they're black because they're screaming racism and they're hollering about the white supremacy and the people that are coming down on them based on their ethnicity, like you see on CNN. That gets my goat. I mean, man, oh man, I have to stop thinking about it. I get so mad hearing them flip-flop so quick from stepping off of the high horse and looking down on foundational black Americans like me. Oh, we're not black. We're not those lowly slaves. And then all of a sudden crying racism and now they're black when they get caught stealing tons of money. So, what do you think about that? What do you think? And you know what? It pisses me off even more. I'm more irritated with the Somali stuff than all of the mess that Tiffany Henyard put the village of Dalton through. All of the crap that went down in Dalton and Thornton Township, even though that irritated me to no end, the way that she treated people, the way that she spoke to people, I get more upset with the Somali situation. You know why? It's because, okay, Tiffany Henyard is black. She's a single black woman in charge. Okay, as bad as she is, as ghetto as she is, as irritating as she is, she's still one of us. Okay, I was born in Chicago on the South Side. I have family all over the South Side of Chicago. And I can tell you that, yeah, she's part of our community. Okay, I don't reject the notion that she's one of us. Cue the song, because the Somalis, they're not like us. So who gives them the right to come over here, turning their noses up at black people, looking down on us, saying we're not black, and then you steal $8 billion? I mean, we're trying to get upset about Tiffany Henyard driving the village of Dalton $5 million in the hole, and then y'all come over here stealing $8 billion and messing everything up. I mean, we've had a great time with all the drama with Tiffany Henyard and Dalton, all of the alleged corruption, the allegations, all of that good stuff. And then they just come and ruin it all. What do you think about that? I really need to know your thoughts, because this year, like I said, we're putting it in perspective, people. We're putting it in perspective. So we got all of the whiners and complainers saying that the FBI investigation is taking too long, even though the last two videos, you can watch them. If you haven't seen the last one, I told you the big clue that the investigation is not ending. It's not going away. I gave you the big clue. If you didn't see it, I'll link the video at the end here. The big clue that I talk about near the end of the video that lets me know that that investigation ain't going nowhere, okay? So while we're complaining about that and needing closure on Tiffany Henyard, we got these jokers up there stealing $8 billion. And it doesn't stop there, because the state of California said, hold my beer. They have misappropriated and laundered about $74 billion, okay? It's so bad in California, they had the concert for the people's homes that burnt down in the fires, and they raised $100 million and said every dollar goes straight to the victims of the fires, and not one dime went to anyone whose house burnt down. $100 million, and half of that money, half of that $100 million, $50 million went to an NGO that is headed up by Gavin the Greasehead Newsom's wife. Holy cow. And the other $50 million went to a bunch of other NGOs, and none of that money got back to the people whose houses burned down. So then we've got the whole $74 billion complete total in federal welfare fraud, okay? And that has happened from them shuffling around all of their money because they decided it was a great idea to give insurance, medical coverage to illegal aliens, and in their Medi-Cal, the janky fake version, the fake news version of Medicaid. It's Medi-Cal. And when that went a few $1 billion in the hole, well, I guess they decided they had to raid a bunch of other federal funds and pretend like, we need federal funds for the starving people. And then they use it for other purposes. Meanwhile, the homeless situation gets worse. And, they don't seem to be getting too much food, but they give them needles. Well, we'll just set that aside. Back to the topic. I digress. So the point is this. This is what I want to get your feedback on. Tiffany Henyard drove the village of Dalton into a $5 million deficit. The Somalians have stolen $8 billion. And they look their noses down on us black people, and you white people too. And then what's up with all the white folks in Minnesota that just lay down and pander and just kiss up to these Somalians? You had the one, who was it? Was it the lieutenant governor or something? She puts on a hijab. She dresses up like them and sits there and defends them. I'm like, why are you doing this? You get people coming from another country, completely different culture, completely different religion. They steal and rob us blind, but then you're going to dress up like them and defend them and holler racism. I don't get it. Let me know. I mean, that's similar to the young white girl syndrome, the people that, all the white women. Where's all the white women at?
Hey, where are the white women at?
The white women who have Trump derangement syndrome, and they lean very communistic. They're always screaming and foaming at the mouth, frothing at the mouth about fascism. There's like a very large percentage, a large portion of white women that have Trump derangement syndrome that pander to illegals and all these cultures that are coming over and trying to just overtake the United States and steal our money. They must just see us coming. They think we're idiots. And then you have all these people that just lay down and accept it and take it and appropriate their culture and then defend it and call everybody else out for being racist if they're against it. So let's put it in perspective. I know I'm rambling, but I'm mad. Tell me what you think. Take Tiffany Henyard and what she did, weigh it against what I just presented to you about the Somalians, all right? Tell me, how does that balance out in your mind? Post it in the comments right now. I'm sure we're going to get some angry, triggered, upset liberals. Okay, I know you're there. You're going to be going crazy. They're going to be spitting and slobbering and calling people fascist, Hitler, Nazi, what's the other one? The oligarchy. Yeah, oligarchy. I know they're coming, but go ahead, get it off your chest, post it in the comments, and let's talk it over. Happy New Year.